Okay, so I couldn't actually stay and watch the rest of the tournament live, so we're gonna look at some replays to see how things played out. Actually, it's been a couple of days now since the tournament, and Veles and Carlos, they both played too many games, and their semifinals is out of their history. But Veles playing controlled Boris, won game 1, and then Carlos conceded, so Veles is through to the finals. And in the other semi-final, we have BP Hachi playing Rothem 1-turn kill, who won 2-1 against Black Angel's discard Zaladar. And since I've already featured Black Angel's Zaladar in the 3 games I played against him, I'm gonna jump right away into the finals. Well, actually, I call it 1-turn kill. I'm not sure it's that kind of build. I think he has more allies. I mean, I don't think he's playing desperate tactics, but I guess we'll see. I only watched one of his games, but he had more allies than in a regular, I'd say, well, regular in a desperate tactics build. I'm interested to see how he makes use of Smith Shop, which I think is an underwhelming card, but I mean, he did win this tournament, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here. Veles, if you remember, is playing Haste, with a lot of Haste and King's Pride, and Seductresses. I think Rothem is playing some allies too, but they're mostly hasted. SBS is interesting for Rothem, because basically you want to set up for a big turn. Ideally on turn, you want to do it kind of quickly with on turn 6 or 7, where you get to use your ability on an ally or 2 and a weapon that was most likely a Berserker's Edge that gains some attack already. And at least in the Desperate Tactics version, that's what you want to do. But yeah, we'll see how Hashi plays his. So Smith Shop here has an impact, allowing him to play a weapon and a crippling blow. But that's something Road Less Travel can do. I mean, Boris hasn't played Blood Frenzy, and he's keeping up with Rothem in terms of draw. Draw is certainly something Rothem wants a lot of, because he's gonna close or lose game quickly, at least in my experience. So you want to draw as much as possible, and if you're playing against Rothem, you want to race him, deal a lot of damage. But at the same time, you can't really let allies live, because he's playing Marksman too. Hadn't seen that one yet. Yeah, the worst thing for a Rothem player, or at least I think is the worst thing, is to have to use your ability to control the board. You want to use your ability to kill your opponent. Visca is a pretty big problem for Rothem, and basically the only thing that can deal with her is Crippling Blow. Even, and now you know Visca is gonna come back, and he's already spent at least 2 CBs. I mean, even Spike Bullet Strike will get her on 0 attack, but you know Boris is playing Aldon and King's Pride, which gets Visca out of SBS range. So okay, so he's definitely not playing Desperate Tactics, a very more ally heavy deck, which is nice. I haven't seen a lot of that build yet. But now with King's Pride and a potential 2 turns of abilities, that's a lot of damage coming Boris's way. With King's Pride down. Yeah, actually Boris gives up. If he had just a Frostmare, can boost it for 5 attack and then get 6 damage out of his Berserker's Edge. So yeah, Rothem had that one. I don't remember who started. I think it was Rothem. I'm not looking for Rothem. Looking for Mr. Hachi. Japanese player, if I'm not mistaken, from his forum account. Against Veles, who's from Serbia. Very international match. Shadow Warrior versus Human Warrior. You see, they're both playing the same class, but they have a pretty different build, which is nice to see. So Veles gets a very nice turn 2 Blade Dancer with the number of hasted allies he's playing. That's good. And yeah, Rothem doesn't have much of a choice. I mean, playing a Crippling Blow on a Poen is... I mean, you can argue that it's a good play, but playing Crippling Blow on a Blade Dancer is almost automatic. I mean, you can't let Blade Dancer live in decks that have haste or protectors. So Rothem decided he wants to get rid of Aldon because of all the hasted allies, which is not a bad idea. At least now Aldon is in Berserker's Edge range. But he already gets, well, he only gets one because one of the bonus damage was wasted on the Krygon, but yeah, decides to save himself 2 damage and potentially more if you have more haste coming in. But with no draw, yeah, Rothem is very much on the back foot here. And we know Rothem loses this game, but that's yeah, that's a very bad spot. No draw, no control. I don't think Rothem can make it out. Boris is still almost in full health. And he's drawing. Blade Dancer is interesting because I guess Rothem will kill him. But that's damage that's not going on your face. So... okay, kills the messenger. So he does have tactics. Well, he has a lot of different cards in his deck. But yeah, I had to use a lot of resources to get rid of those 2 small allies. Now no draw, no board control. Well, I did the wise thing, and I don't know, he probably just top decked 2 Blood Frenzies. Maybe he's been keeping one since the beginning because he didn't have a lot of good early plays anyway. He's been on the back foot since turn 2 actually. And now with haste coming his way, and a King's Pride online, gonna be pretty hard. And Boris has to know that Rothem can play some marksman, so even his high HP fatties are not safe. But by playing only one, he's forcing his opponent to have a Crippling Blow, which... has he played 2? No, he's played 1. Then he's played 1 on Aldon, and then SBS on Blade Dancer. And an empty hand to boot. But an empty hand with Blood Frenzy is much worse than an empty hand when you're top deck. Much better, or less worse actually, than an empty hand when you're top decking, because it's going to be much harder for Veles to try to evaluate, you know, what are the odds that Hachi draws a specific card. But it's still not optimal. I mean, having one card in hand is much better. Then your opponent can't know what you're about to do. He's not even getting a +1 on his Berserker's Hedge. King's Pride still has 3 durability, so yeah. We know Hachi has smashing blows, but even that wouldn't be enough. Veles has lethal, thanks to Blood Frenzy. One crippling blow, 1 kill. No, he has Aldan in his hand, and yeah, Aldan and pretty much any other aced guy would have been enough, but Biska by herself will be good. So another win for the player who went first. And let's see how the ultimate game played out. So Hachi went first. Playing, I haven't seen any Blade Dancers for Hachi, but in a deck full of Haste, that can be very nice. I play Blade Dancer in my Rothem. So both players set up. I mean, the nice things for warriors going first against other warriors that, well, I don't think Hachi has a Spectral Saber, or we haven't seen it actually. Actually, I do play a Spectral Saber in my Rothem because you can put it in the graveyard easily, early game to take out other Blade Frenzies, and then get it back with Reserve Weapon, so it has 3 attack on the turns you want to use your ability and Desperate Tactics. So out of nowhere you can deal 6 + 1, so 7, yeah, 13 damage with Desperate Tactics. It's pretty nice. But yeah, going first as a warrior against another warrior, if you have the chance to take out their turn 3 Blood Frenzies before they draw, you want to do it. So it's not a bad start for both players, and here Hachi is forced to use his ability to take the board. I mean, it's not terrible per se, but I mean, he did eventually win this game. But he has 2 very low HP allies. I mean, Veles can easily take back the board here with, say, Visca and his ability, even with Chris and Messenger, or yeah, just Crippling Blow and ability. But that was a lot of shadow energy. I mean, that's a problem with 5 HP abilities, is that realistically you can pretty much only count on using them twice in a game. So you have to make every use count. RLT, which is a very nice secondary draw for especially in the haste deck, and especially against warrior who control through crippling blows. She's trying to flood the board and put some pressure. We've seen at least 2 crippling blows. We know Boris has some Seductress, which... oh, I didn't even remember he had Marksman. Marksman was good here. It's just a 1-for-1, but he has the board. He's forcing Hachi to have an answer to his Marksman. But he has a lot of potential plays here. On 18 and 20. Now this marksman will be harder to remove. Maybe a King's Pride and Chris. Yeah. That's nice. So this one was the tighter of all 3 games so far. Both players exchanging board control. Both players got their draw early too. That's always nice to see. Yeah, Spectral Saber when your opponent is on 2 cards isn't a bad choice. And Boris will have 1 guy left. Yeah, I say Boris is in a pretty good spot. He's drawing a lot and he's filtering. He's not filtering anymore. Smashing Blow would be huge here, but he's already played 1, I think. Visca is pretty good too. I think I would have liked his second ally, but I don't know his hand, but flooding the board at this point would have been nice. Now Rothem is just going for the kill. He doesn't care. Gonna lose his Berserker's Edge, but he probably has a hasted guy and a weapon in hand. Ooh, Enrage. Nice, nice play there. Brings King's Pride on 2. No, he was going for the kill, but with only a bad Santa in hand. Yeah, that's something you can. I mean, there were a lot of chances. Boris was on what, 9? I mean, yeah, I like that move. When you put your opponent in kill range, you can Blood Frenzy, but the Enrage here is actually huge for Boris. Still gonna get a big swing from his Berserker's Edge. No King's Pride. He gets 8 damage just out of this guy. And ability. Now he's on 11. I forgot about the armor, but so he can deal 11 damage. Is he gonna go for board control? Yes. Oh, that's risky. Wow, with an empty hand. When going for the face was risky too. It was gonna deal what did I say? It was on 7. That was on 5, so that was 8, 11 damage. Would have been on 5. And then you just wait for your activation of your next ability. And yeah, I forgot he was on very low HP too. Wow. Derek, Boris is out of cards, but Rothem is on 1 HP. He probably has no allies left, otherwise he would have played them. Wow, he's gonna win by decking out Boris. I didn't see that one coming. Wow, very even game. Could have gone both ways. Taking your opponent out on 1 HP with Rothem. I'm glad I got this one recorded. I don't think we'll see this very often. So, yeah, I mean, we got a variety of decks in this pop-up. I only saw one Zaladar. He made top 4, but still. So Boris, some Gart, played Baduru, some Janas, I think. So yeah, the meta is still pretty much open. People are complaining about Zaladar's. I mean, it's the one hero I've played against the most so far. He's out there, but he's very beatable. Victor is pretty strong too. I like Jana these days. I have great results with her. Baduru is always there. Very solid choice. So that was my second tournament report with some first-person. Actually, I had a little bit of everything. Some first-person point of views in round 1, some live commentary on the round 2, and some replays in round 3. So yeah, as always, I'll be happy to read and respond to any comments you leave, and see you later.